אחשוף בפניכם את אתר הגרעין בנתנז שתקפנו מוקדם יותר.
In the early hours of June 13th, Israel launched one of the largest military operations in its history, striking dozens of Iranian nuclear facilities, missile sites, and high-ranking commanders. The Israeli government called it a preemptive strike aimed at stopping what it claimed was Iran's imminent path to nuclear weapons.
The Israelis undertook a unilateral act of aggression and military attack on Iranian sovereign territory in violation of the UN Charter. And it's actually Iran which has been condemned in various European capitals for destabilizing the Middle East.
Israel has the right to defend itself. Iran can never have a nuclear weapon.
Iran cannot have a nuclear bomb.
They can't have a nuclear weapon.
Back in 2015, Iran had actually signed a nuclear deal with the P5+1, known as the JCPOA or the Iran deal. Iran was abiding by that agreement. It ensured that Iran did not have a significant stockpile of highly enriched uranium. So this was very much working. And of course, during his first term, President Trump withdrew from that diplomatic accord, and then imposed what he calls sort of this maximum pressure campaign, which really was tantamount to an all-out kind of economic war against Iran's sort of economy.
We will be instituting the highest level of economic sanction.
Obviously, we like to see a regime change, at least I would, in Iran, just as I would like to see in Iraq.
Obviously, this has been something which Benjamin Netanyahu has been advocating for really 2.5 decades. I mean, really since the mid-90s. I mean, he's been espousing this. The Israelis and their allies in Washington do have this strategy of basically attacking those states which challenge Israeli hegemony and complete dominance, weakening them, and if they can, ultimately breaking them. And we've seen that sort of trail of destruction across the region. I do think that there is a shared sort of objective of really just weakening, defanging, and potentially like breaking the back of the government in Iran.
A real end, not a ceasefire, an end.
Europe's leaders are so craven to the US and US power that they're not willing to actually buck this. I mean, after the Iraq war, and obviously France and Germany disagreed there, and especially I think given the Ukraine war, given the kind of the real concern that Trump might actually continue to defund and undermine NATO, their priority obviously is Russia, it is NATO, and without the Americans, I mean, it's it's a paper tiger. So really, this is a fait accompli. They're going to go along with it. The German Chancellor has literally said that this is sort of, we're glad the Israelis are sort of doing the dirty work for us.
Das ist die Drecksarbeit, die Israel macht für uns alle.
So yeah, they weren't prepared to do it for themselves, but if it comes about and in a sense it's been imposed upon them, it's a fait accompli, and they will happily go along with it. I don't think they're really considering again the fallout of this, given that Iran is a country of 90 million people, and if you really destroy the state and destabilize it to an immense degree, that's going to obviously spark a massive outflux of people and refugees and so on, and that's going to obviously be on Europe's doorstep. Analysts have long pronounced that the Israelis cannot destroy Iran's nuclear enrichment facilities by themselves. But there's also significant doubts that the United States even can. If the United States was sincere and genuine in wanting to basically constrain Iran's civilian nuclear enrichment program, they would have done this through diplomacy, as was previously done in 2015. And the fact that they have pursued the strategy of actually just simply bombing Iran and trying to impose total capitulation shows this is about a much bigger and grander and more grandiose and hubristic kind of vision, which is very much to remake the Middle East in one which is completely and utterly subordinate to the United States, but also its junior partner in this, Israel.